Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pooja. So here we are going to analyze the return of cheetah to India. After it was declared extinct in the year 1952, India is going to be the home for cheetahs again. What are the intricacies of it? We must know, because after approximately more than 70 years, it is going to be reintroduced in a designated habitat. What is India doing with respect to it? Are there any concerns related? And of course, we will know all about cheetahs. So, moving on, let us look at the different topics that we are going to cover. How are they extinct in India? The background is Project Cheetah conceived very newly, or there were certain other projects as well. Why are they being reintroduced, and challenges as well as the way forward? Moving ahead, let us talk about the overview of the cheetahs. India is going to acquire 8 Namibian cheetahs. Namibian as in they are coming from Namibia, but they are not Asiatic cheetahs, they are African cheetahs. If all goes well, then by the end of the year, 12 more cheetahs will be reintroduced. And looking at this, first they will be brought to India empty stomach through a helicopter ride, and after they have completed the designated and stipulated amount of quarantine, they will be released in a phased manner in the second stop, that is the Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary was specifically designated for the reintroduction of cheetahs, and we will discuss about that as well. So, among the 8 cheetahs, 5 will be female and 3 will be male. And 12 more, as I told you, are expected to come from the region of South Africa. In totality, we will acquire 50 cheetahs. So the budget is elaborate. It is a 90 crore budget for 5-year program. Now, each cheetah will be given 2 to 3 kgs of meat every 2 to 3 days during the designated time of quarantine. And if we talk about African cheetahs, 7,000 approx number of cheetahs there are globally, out of which 4,500 are in South Africa. So moving ahead, let us talk about the other important things. Cheetahs, the common name is of course cheetahs. Scientific is 𝐃𝐫𝐤𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢. It's a mammal, and of course it's a carnivore. The average lifespan in the wild is up to 14 years of age, and the average lifespan in captivity is up to 20 years because of predation or some other sort of diseases which are unable to be treated in the wild. In captivity, cheetahs live longer. Body size is 3.7 to 4.6 feet. Tail is 2 to 2.7 feet. Weight is 77 to 143 in pounds. Now moving ahead, let us talk about other very important facts of cheetah. They are the fastest mammal on land. They can reach up to a speed limit of 97 or 113 km per hour over a short distance. A cheetah's spine is the major factor in doing so. It allows them to stretch out and cover about 30 feet in one stride. Also, they have tawny coats which is covered in black spots, and each are arranged in a different manner for being identified easily. Moving ahead, as we talk about them, they are small to medium sized. They eat small to medium sized animals. That means we have to know what is their predation range so that they can be sustained in the wild. They eat hares, impalas, wild beasts, calves, and even Indian gazelles. Okay, and because of their size, strength, and other very important features, some scientists do believe that they are a part of the family of big cats such as tigers, lions, jaguars. But unlike them, they do not roar, they only purr. Moving ahead, let us talk about the different types of cheetahs. First is, of course, the Asian cheetah, which is critically endangered in the IUCN Red List. Then we have the African cheetahs. African cheetahs basically are more or the same like the Asiatic cheetahs, but we have some major differences between them. And as we see the historic range where cheetahs used to live, this is the historic range of Asiatic cheetahs: India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, and these are the many other regions of Africa. Now we find cheetahs presently in very few countries of Africa and Iran. Here we have Asiatic cheetah. So African cheetahs can be found in Botswana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Angola, Namibia, Chad, Algeria, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania and Sudan as well. Okay, so these are the important countries related. Now it must interest you to know that even Asiatic cheetahs, if we talk about, they originate from South Africa. Moving ahead, let us talk about certain differences. Asiatic cheetahs, they split from their African counterparts between 32,000 and 67,000 years ago. Compared to African cheetahs, the Asiatic cheetah is a little smaller in size and they have a thicker coat. Asiatic cheetahs, they had a thicker coat and more powerful neck plus slender legs. Okay, and they could be faster than African species with longer legs, but there is no scientific research with respect to it. An adult Asiatic cheetah grows about 1.3 meters in length and can weigh up to 54 kilograms. Alright, moving ahead, another thing to know about is how did they become extinct in India. Now they were declared extinct in India in 1952. Last ones were hunted down by Maharaja Ramanaj Pratap Singh Deo in Korea, Chhattisgarh in the year 1947, and this is the picture that we have attached. The earliest available record with respect to cheetahs used for hunting purposes can be found in the 12th century Sanskrit text Manna Sulasa. Manna Sulasa was produced by the Kalyani Chalukya ruler Someshwara III, who reigned from 1127 to 1138 CE. Okay, and also a BBC report states that between 1799 and 1968 there were at least 230 cheetahs in the wild in India. Okay, although they were declared extinct in 1952, but this was the range of time they chose for, you can say, gauging the amount of cheetahs. So habitat loss is one of the biggest reasons, because as population grew, their regions of habitat shrinked. Another thing is increased human-wildlife conflict. As we humans went more and more into their areas of habitat, human-animal conflict resulted most certainly most of the times in the death of the wildlife, that is the cheetahs, because of the loss of prey as well. If cheetahs are getting extinct because of the loss of grasslands, other species were also, you can say, endangered with respect to loss of habitat and loss of grassland area. So because of that as well, illegal trafficking of cheetahs was one of the major reasons. But during the colonial times, as they were used for hunting, so indiscriminate hunting as well as inbreeding in cheetahs led to the deformity in their numbers. Moving ahead, now let's talk about other important aspects with respect to Project Cheetah. If we talk about the 1970s, there was a triggering of the idea that we need to reintroduce cheetahs back, and it was using the Asiatic cheetah species by swap method with Iran. Here, it was suggested in the 1970s that we should exchange Asiatic lion with Iran for 250 Asiatic cheetahs, because in Iran back then Asiatic lions were extinct and India had approximately 260 Asiatic lions. But of course, after the regime change in India as well as the regime change in Iran, this project could not move forward. Other than that, by the 1980s, when the government again thought out a plan for the same thing, what happened? The number of cheetahs declined and this project could not be done. Because in any place for a sustainable reintroduction, 30 to 40, you can say, numbers of those individuals have to be reintroduced. But by the time we reached that plan, what happened? The numbers reduced and we could not ask Iran. Okay, now they are critically endangered by the IUCN. Now comes 2000s. 2000s saw that there was an idea by the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Hyderabad. They said we should clone it, but there were certain technical issues with respect to cell replication. So what happens? This project was also suspended. Comes 2009 when we saw that Project Cheetah is launched, but because of certain issues with other wildlife bodies of government, they were said that we were not engaged in the Project Cheetah. So the project was challenged in the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court allowed the government of India to reintroduce African cheetahs. Okay, we are bringing African cheetahs. So then National Tiger Conservation Authority and IUCN passed the no objection for the translocation of cheetahs from Namibia and South Africa to India. Now the African cheetah reintroduction project in India was conceived in 2009 when in Gajner, what happened? There was a participation with respect to how we are going to reintroduce the cheetahs. Moving ahead, now Project Cheetah, it aims at the reintroduction and re-establishment of the population of cheetahs. Now that is with respect to identification and restoration of their habitat. That means we have to identify the proper habitat as well as restore it if it is deteriorated. Now the thing is that Kuno National Park has been designated at the top with respect to the relocation. Other locations are also there, but Kuno was chosen, and 500-hectare predator-proof enclosure for a soft release of the feline has been established. Because it is not going to be all at once, the climate system has also, has also been one of the factors where concerns are rising, but phased manner is going to be there. And they are already fitted with GPS, GSM or GPS satellite transmitters so that more information can be, you can say, collected with respect to their movement. Now, Kuno National Park is in Madhya Pradesh, northern region, near Rajasthan border. And this is the region where cheetahs are going to be reintroduced. If we talk about it, then of course, abundance of cheetal is there with a population density of 38.48 individuals. So, we can say yes, with respect to predation, we are safe. Now, the park can hold up to 21 cheetahs based on the current population that they have. And it could go up to 36. We are going to reintroduce 50 cheetahs. Fauna in the park also includes sloth bears, spotted deer, civet cats, wolves, fox, mongoose species. It was designated as a wildlife sanctuary in the year 1981. Moving ahead, let's talk about the other things. On January 5, 2022, that means this year, 19th meeting of the National Tiger Conservation Authority released the action plan for reintroduction of cheetahs. And of course, 50 cheetahs we are going to reintroduce by the 5-year program. And on July 20, 2022, Memorandum of Understanding was signed between Government of India and the Republic of Namibia. Indian Oil inked an MOU with NTCA for transcontinental relocation of cheetah in its historical range country, India. Now, what are the other preparations that are being made? Madhya Pradesh CM as well as Union Minister inspected the Kuno National Park, and that is ahead of the visit of the Prime Minister because we are going to reintroduce them on 17th of September. So before that, a 800 square kilometer dedicated enclosure has been built for the purpose where proper treatment could be done with respect to the introduction. Then the Environment Ministry is also sensitizing school children regarding the translocation. So awareness is being made, and 15,000 students from 300 eco clubs from different states such as Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Telangana and Kerala, they attended the webinar on reintroduction of cheetah. This was conducted by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Now, other things have also been undertaken such as the vaccination of dogs over there, as well as it needs to be people-free, dog-free area. So the animals will be swapped around to ensure genetic diversity. This is one of the reasons where we are seeing the reintroduction of cheetah. Because cheetah balances the ecosystem, our ecosystem needs that, and cheetahs are introduced for that only. It will help the ecosystem as the animal lives in open plains and grasslands and scrubs and forest system. So when cheetah is reintroduced into that area, whatever the ecosystem is there, if it is also you can say, of course, not if it will also definitely support other species as well. So you can see that other species will also get a lot of comfort with respect to it. Moving ahead, there are certain concerns with respect to Project Cheetah. First is that we can be distracted from other pressing and critical concerns with respect to other species, other animals, which are depleting. These animals are depleting in India. If we are going to focus only on one animal, it will be an injustice to another animal. And it has never been figured in our National Wildlife Action Plan, nor it has figured in our current plan. But because of the complete devotion to this program, it can happen that whatever is critically endangered in India can also deplete. So how many times we are going to reintroduce them? Cheetahs need large home range. Ideally, habitats between 5,000 to 10,000 square kilometers, which is a cause of concern as we see that population growth is leading to depletion of land. Most of India's former cheetah habitats are shrinking because of the pressure of land. Now, how will we sustain the population? That is another thing. Population sustenance also you can say it is built upon other other species which are there for predation. So if we are not at all including them, then how we will sustain the population? Also, this is for the first time ever when a reintroduction is happening. So we cannot actually base our opinion on anything. It's just a hit and trial method. Climate challenges are going to be there because, of course, how to get them acclimatized in the quarantine period, that will be seen. But if they are not able to sustain the climate, there is a climate difference between Africa and India. If not so, then what will happen? No data is there to show that cheetahs, lions and tigers can live in the region without any conflict and comfortably. So that is also one of the concerns raised. Now moving ahead, let us talk about the question for today. Who among the following wrote Sanskrit text Manna Sulasa? And if you answer this question correctly, I will take your names in the next segment. Just wait a moment, I am going to take the names of those who have answered my last question correctly. So yes, my last question was with respect to India's first feature film, which was Raja Harishchandra, and it was by Dada Saheb Phalke, and he released it in the year 1913. So Mini Sharma has answered it correctly. Vaibhav, also Simran, and we also have Aditya Birla, Rupal, Vinay Kumar, as well as Shankar, then Kash, also Tushita, Manish, Akash, and Kavya has also answered it correctly. Then we have Arshad and Pallavi, Shrishti, Balaji, also Vinay has answered it correctly, Anuj, Shabri, and Saurav Gupta and Anshika. Thank you so much for answering last question. Answer this question as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay updated.